It's that time of year and Rebellion is back. Welcome to Society Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I'm going to talk about Sniper Elite Resistance. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, let's dive right in. The Sniper Elite series has never been the most innovative of games. After they introduced the little X-ray vision, where you get to see people get obliterated in the most horrifying ways possible, they pretty much just lived with that. The maps got bigger, the enemies got a little smarter, and maybe you had some more complexities in the missions. So you might have to spontaneously find some dude who happens to be a target of opportunity and take him out either with some unique method or whatever, just to get some more experience. These games have kind of become just a staple of gaming. They're not bad, they're not excessively great, but they can be a lot of fun to toy around in and just run around causing trouble. You know, it's got so many tools to just have a good time, whether you're booby trapping a body or messing with the power or finding creative ways to take care of your objectives. Sniper Elite can always be a good time. And this is no exception. The new Sniper Elite Resistance, it's honestly, it's more of the same. I can't really twist that any other way. If anything, the greatest sin it commits is just not being remotely innovative. It's got some things that I didn't know the last one did. A friend of mine told me that you could do invasions in the last game. I didn't get that far with it because, quite frankly, I just got tired of those missions. They're just too long. For me, Sniper Elite is more about the campaign, trying to solve the puzzle of how to finish it with a perfect stealth, or even going at it with like total guns blazing craziness and seeing how far you can get, or maybe even solve the whole thing without really caring about being sneaky. They have made that a little bit harder here because in the last games, I could pretty much hold my own by going crazy Call of Duty on it. But this game, the reinforcements do seem a little bit more aggressive and intense. That said, I have seen plenty of situations already where the enemy is just flat stupid. I walked right by a sniper who was aiming down a hallway that I was traversing, and I didn't notice him until I was standing right next to him, and he just continued to aim like we were buddies. Like we were on the same team. And then I was standing in a room reloading my weapon, and three guys literally ran right through the room. They were pursuing me, mind you, because I had just done a bunch of shenanigans, and they just walked right by, no problem. And I just followed them out and took care of them. So there are problems here. And when you get to the first big city area where you're going to wander around and sort of have your more sandbox moment, like in the last game, I gotta say, the place felt completely empty. In fact, it was so empty, the only way to make it feel like a real place was to cause trouble and bring out reinforcements. And then it finally felt like there were people there. I guess everyone was just hanging out inside in buildings you couldn't get to. I suppose that's what I'm supposed to believe. But considering that this game just came out and Hitman's been out for a long time, you'd think that they would have implemented at least some of that. I mean, it's a very similar game in a lot of ways, because you are sneaking around, you can find unique ways to do your stuff. Not quite the same level of puzzle as Hitman, but I mean, maybe bring in some civilians, some pedestrians. Maybe they're just worried that you'll be a psycho and just start killing regular people or something. I don't know. But when you enter into this place that is technically occupied by other people, it would have just been nice to have it feel alive. And since they didn't do that, the place just feels like a set piece for you to wander around and do this mission. And it becomes more of a game and less of an immersive experience. Now, I don't know exactly what they're going for here, but with things like the invasion, where another player can come in and hunt you down like it's Dark Souls or something, and the focus on multiplayer, because there is enough of it. When I installed the game, it said, hey, do you want to install some anti-cheat to play? All around, it feels like they've probably spread themselves a little bit thin and tried to do too much. You know, it used to be that they kind of focused on what they were trying to accomplish and did that well. And that was their sniper aspect. Now that that's solidified, they've branched out. And instead of being innovative with the internal gameplay, or at least excessively so, they've added new game modes and challenges and all kinds of other stuff. And quite frankly, I just don't think it's necessary. But You know, in this day and age, they want to charge a ton of money. I mean, the first tier of this game is $59.99, and then they have an $89.99 version. It's also available on Xbox Game Pass, which is how I played it, and probably why I don't feel quite so bad about giving it a little bit of a hard time. If I would have spent real money on it, I'd be more compelled to really dive in and try and beat the game. But as a first impression, I have to be honest, I've already played this game. It's not that unique. The gameplay is fun, but it's not so fun that it's like, oh my goodness, I missed this so much. In reality, it's so much like Sniper Elite 4 and 5 that it's kind of deja vu in a lot of ways. Now, your character is pretty snarky. He sounds like he's aping Jason Statham, and I mean that's fine. He's kind of ridiculous. Some of the stuff he says is very inappropriate, and the story itself follows pretty much the same standard as the previous entries. The one that you were in Africa, I thought was the most unique because it finally stepped out of Europe for the first time ever, and I thought that was really cool. But they went back to basics, and they won't advance the storyline because they love World War II, and it's easy to focus on a villain that will never be redeemed. So they don't have to worry about trying to make like a Vietnam War version or something like that, which honestly, I'm kind of surprised they never did. Especially considering how many of these games they've put out. I would have thought that at some point they'd just, I don't know, try a new era or something. But whatever, that's their bag. They are like the kings of these mostly competent games that are set in a specific time frame. They put together a pretty reasonable campaign. Now they're tacking on some multiplayer options that are probably more robust than they've used to be. And I can't really fault them for sticking to basics. It does get them some flack from reviewers who are like, it's deja vu, it's all the same, it's not innovative, it's not new. But let's be fair. I mean, do we really need new on every single thing? I don't really think so. It would have been nice if this game had... It's hard for me to say exactly what I wanted out of it to make it more exciting for me specifically. I think changing the era would have helped, or the theater again, moving it to some other part of the world. I mean, we've already done Italy, we've done France, we've done Africa. I guess they could start moving east, but whatever the case, I mean, this is their thing, and it's done well. So there you go. I do wish that in the campaign that they allowed you to customize your weapons a little bit more right off the bat. Half of them are locked behind challenges and other foolishness. That's just kind of lame. You pretty much don't even need to look at customization when you first start because you're not going to have anything to change to. I mean, obviously you can swap a few things out. I swapped my pistol for the silenced Vervog, or however you say that thing. And I mean, that's essential for sneaking around. But other than that, it just seems like they should have opened that up a lot more. That's one of the really cool staples of the game, is being able to customize that weapon as much as you can. And you can't even change your character model until you beat the entire campaign. So I guess if you just loved this game and you couldn't get enough, then at the end you could play the entire thing again while looking at somebody else's back. I don't know. It just seems very strange that they limit customization the way they do. I granted, they want to reward you for finishing the campaign or playing through it and all that stuff, but at the same time, it'd be nice to just have some control over your destiny besides wandering through the open world to see what you can get up to. Specifically, I think that their campaign is so story-driven in the sense that the actions are rote and the character has to say certain things, and the events are basically taking place about that character. It actually makes me curious to redo the campaign as one of the other characters just to see if they even took that into account. But I doubt I'll ever get there because playing through the first mission was fun. About half of the second mission was fun, but then it devolves into, oh my goodness. Here I am in tall grass again, waiting for a guy to come by to either melee him or shoot him with the little silenced pistol thing. Nope, he's done. Okay, next step. Where do I have to go? Where's the marker? It's just, it feels tedious. It's sort of like an expansion for an MMO that just doesn't add enough to really get you going. There's like no new classes or no new skills or whatever. And so you're just like, oh, look, it's more the same. I'm going to go and pick up 20 flowers or, you know, find more boar intestines, whatever the case may be. And speaking of intestines, the X-ray mode in this game is back in full glory. It's not really any different that I could tell. And the very first shot I took was utterly horrifying. And I swear that grenades seem a lot worse than they ever did before. I don't know. I don't remember them being quite so destructive in the previous games. But anyway, Sniper Elite Resistance, are you playing it? Does Rebellion even excite you? Are you a fan of their games? Would you buy this game for $60 or $90? Or would you wait for the steep discounts they usually go on? Let me know in the comments below, and I'm going to let you go on this one because my ultimate first impression is just sort of meh. Like, not bad, not great, just sort of, it's there. It's another game. Anyway, this is Robert from Society Case Files signing off.